The Heroic Menagerie is a completely wasted activity. Hello all, I'm Chad, and today I'm here to tell you why I think that's the case. Heroic Menagerie is the follow-up and prestige mode of the normal Menagerie. The normal version allows 6 players to matchmake, while Heroic requires you to match as a full team. You can match with less players, but obviously it's ideal to go in with 6, and there's a triumph for doing it with 3. In fact, if we put aside the triumphs for a second, Heroic Menagerie has very little in the way of unique rewards, only offering the swords for the 3 classes, and the first completion a week guarantees that you will get a fully masterworked weapon. However, this isn't a curated role, it's just automatically free masterwork tier 10. For players short on enhancement cores, this does make it a worthwhile weekly activity, as every character you complete it on will get an item that will guarantee dismantle for 7 enhancement cores. The only other reasons to do this activity are for the Shadow title, as most of the triumphs that you can do in Heroic Menagerie are required for that title. After you have obtained the Izanagi's Burden, the first heroic completion does grant you the Catalyst, but obviously this doesn't provide any replay value, as it's just a one-time thing. The only unique grindable drop from the Heroic Menagerie is the sword, and they're not enough of a departure from the norm that they're really worth grinding for on their own. When you realize that they're a requirement for the title, because they're a requirement for the collection badge, then it starts to paint a pretty clear idea of what this activity is actually about. Heroic Menagerie is just a time-gated challenge mode for the title. Now inherently that's not a bad thing, but let's compare it to Riven's Bane and Blacksmith, which both had activities that also had challenges tied to them for the titles. What I mean by that is that those activities work on their own. For Riven's Bane, you had to do a series of challenges within the raid, but you could just do the raid normally and still get all the raid rewards. It's just if you wanted Riven's Bane, you had to go out of your way to do many of these challenges. You could make the argument that Cursebreaker is the other half of Riven's Bane, requiring non-raid activities, but if you look at those, you'll find a similar pattern. Blacksmith, having a shorter raid, required less raid challenges, and many of the challenges were associated with the forges. But the forges themselves offered a unique activity with unique rewards. There are still sought-after perk combinations on those weapons that don't exist anywhere else in the game. The normal Menagerie stands out as one of the best activities Bungie has made to date. The problem with the Heroic Menagerie is it doesn't really expand on any of the mechanics or on the rewards. I believe there is a simple solution though. Many players have grown dissatisfied with the loot from the normal Menagerie, given that now, for an entire run, they only get one piece of gear they are likely to be dissatisfied with. The easiest way to address this, I think, would be to make it so the heroic chest actually lets you open it multiple times. This would even out the time investment, because while it's harder to complete a heroic run, you're getting more rewards for it. Despite many of the non-unique rewards being endlessly easier to obtain in the normal Menagerie, farming them still doesn't feel very satisfying anymore. Providing players a path to get more reward for more effort seems like a push in the right direction for Bungie. But what do you think? Would my idea work? Do you have a better one? And how do you see Heroic Menagerie working out in the future? Anyway, I'm Chad, and I hope to see you in the next video.
Your victory gives the city hope, Guardian.